0-2 pitch from Yates is lined towards right center field. On the move is Reyes. Look out! Reyes makes the catch in front of Travis Jankowski to end the ball game.
Oh, what could have been a disaster out there at right center field worked out great for the Padres. They come away with a 5-4 victory. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo along with Mark Grant. Welcome to Padres baseball. Well, the Padres are trying to win another series. Their fourth in a row, have a chance to do that today. How are they winning these games? Well, with timely hitting. They've been getting a lot of two-out RBIs.
RISP stands for runners in scoring position. I tell you what, they have been clutch in that situation. There's what I see when the Padres are at the plate. First of all, I think it's a mindset to where the Padre hitters know that the pitcher needs to make a good pitch. The pressure is on them. So excelling with two outs, runners at second and third, 287 with two outs. That's ungodly numbers. That leads all of Major League Baseball. Working the count, laying off bad pitches. The high fastball has been the kryptonite for this team early in the season. I really think they're taking strides of laying off that pitch and hitting the ball well where it's pitched with two outs and runners in scoring position. That's why you see the high average.
Clayton Richard today makes his 14th start of the year for the Padres. He's going deeply into games right now.
And hopefully quickly and quick outs against these Miami Marlins. The thing that Clayton Richard has done the last 6 starts is getting ahead strike one and also utilizing that fastball on the glove side. Yeah, it's all smiles when he gets the grounders, when he gets the call third strike. It's a 3-pitch mix, but it's all predicated on him coming out early, few pitches in the first inning, and hopefully getting on the board. 81 innings pitched going into this game, only 78 hits. It's not a lot, but that's a good sign for Clayton Richard because last year, way more hits than innings pitched, so he's doing well right now, last 6.
Got to like his chances today. We'll see. It's game 3 of the series. Coming up, Bob Scanlon checks in with the manager, Andy Green, on his super pinch hitter, Hunter Renfroe. Next, we return to Miami and Marlins Park on Fox Sports San Diego.
Hunter Renfroe coming off the bench, getting all of it. A grand slam pinch hit home run. That would give the Padres a 6-3 win over the Cincinnati Reds and the series victory. Now let's go to last night. Again coming off the bench, this time a double. To get things going, he would eventually score. Thanks to Travis Jankowski, that would be the game-winning run. The Padres have been outstanding since Hunter Renfroe has come back and helped them coming off the bench. And it should not be taken for granted that both of those pinch hits against right-hand batters. He's made an adjustment with his front foot, and it's obviously paying off. Is Andy Green happy about it? He certainly is. Here's what the skipper had to say.
He's done great. I mean, that's a game-winning at-bat for us today, that double, to eventually score that run for us. He's done really well in that pinch hit situation. Obviously, the grand slam, even putting the ball in play on Ziegler earlier in the year, they ended up getting us a win. He's done nice off the bench. He's done a nice job starting. He'll obviously be back out there in the starting lineup tomorrow, and he's doing some really nice things.
And he went on to explain that he's going to get consistent playing time. He said 357 since his return with 4 doubles, that pinch hit home run, 4 runs scored and 5 RBIs. Well, it's Travis time. He did it last night. We'll see if he can do it again in the leadoff spot. Travis Jankowski doing some damage to lead things off. Padres, Fish, coming up next, right here on Fox Sports San Diego.
That's a big break for San Diego.
Galvis headed for second base with an RBI double. Is gone. Home run for Freddie Galvis. To right field, a base hit for Jankowski. Renfroe will score. Reyes makes the catch. And the Padres hold on and win this one. Back in Miami for the third and final game of the series, and time now for the weather report, brought to you by your always sunny Honda dealers of San Diego County. Temperature 84 degrees outside, wind at east 6 miles per hour, 78% humidity, mostly cloudy for the remainder of the day. Roof is closed. Don Orsillo, Mark Grant, and Bob Scanlon with you for game 3 of this 3-game series, the first leg of this 3-city tour coming to an end today. And the Padres trying to win their 4th series in a row as we check out the starting lineup for the San Diego Padres, brought to you by your San Diego County Toyota dealers. Travis Jankowski in left field, leading it off with Eric Hosmer at first base, Jose Perella at second base, Hunter Renfroe in right field, Christian Villanueva at third base, Freddie Galvis at short with Manuel Margot in center. Rafael Lopez does the catching, and Clayton Richard batting out of the 9th spot on the mound today for the Padres. On the mound today for the Marlins, Jose Urena.
Winless at home. 0-6, 26-year-old making his 14th start. Sinker, slider, changeup. He can get wild, and I'll tell you what, he's so wild up and in and out of the strike zone that he gives you uncomfortable at-bats. He'll throw in well out of the zone, and then next thing you know, he'll dot the outside corner for a strike.
Now ready to go here as Travis Jankowski stands in. He'll be first to face Urania. Jankowski, Hosmer, and Perella here in the first inning. And the first pitch of this one in there for strike one over the inside corner to Jankowski. Urania coming in with a tough record of 1-7. 4.60 earned run average. But it's really not the indicative of how he has pitched. I mean, he has pitched fairly well, just has not had any run support to speak of.
No support for any of these Marlin pitchers. 15th in runs, 15th in total bases. RBI's 15th in the league. I mean, come on. You got to have the mentality to you throw a shutout each and every time.
Well, Travis Jankowski, big night. Big series, really. He's been doing very well off the leadoff spot. RBI base hit here with the scoring run that ended up being the difference in the game. As Jankowski chases this time and strikes out for the first out here of the ball game. Urania strikes him out, one down.
Now, if I'm a pitcher like Urania, you know, it's kind of hard not to think about the numbers, right? Only one win, winless at home. Why not just go out there and challenge these hitters and kind of get upset and, you know, stay within yourself, but challenge them to hit the ball. Looks like he pulled the string on that last pitch. Little changeup from the right-hander. Good depth to it for the swing and miss.
Eric Hosmer batting with one down, and the base is empty here in the first inning. 288 average for Haas. 7 homers and 28 runs batted in. Fouled off down the left field line, out of play.
You guys are pretty tight now. It goes by Haas.
Yeah,
really?
we're very close.
Yeah.
373 on base percentage.
What'd you do on the off day?
We did not hang out on the off day, as it turned out.
Beach?
No, we tried, but it was very cloudy.
It's always cloudy when you're laying out there.
On the right side, Castro throws out Hosmer. 2 down here in the first inning.
Let's take a look at the Marlins defense, brought to you by your San Diego Cadillac dealers. Lewis Brinson in center field, 5 errors this season. To his right and left, Cameron Maben. To his left and right, Brian Anderson. On the infield, Rojas, Riddle, Castro, and Bohr. Behind the plate, Real Muto. Behind the right-hander, Jose Urania.
2 down for Jose Perella. Batting in the 3 spot for the Padres. That average on the rise up to 277 for him. So looking for that first elusive home run of the year for Perella. Hit 10 last year. And a total of 23 between El Paso and San Diego last year. Still no home runs this year.
Talk about the hot zone. This is from the pitcher's perspective. So middle in, and down. 70 hits. You can go up the ladder, fewer hits, and then down and away and down and in. Like that last pitch, down and in.
Ground ball to short. Half hop picked by Riddle. Throws out Perella, and it's an easy 1-2-3 inning for Urania. Marlins are coming up. By Petco, the pet company. By Jerome's Furniture, where Jerry's price is the lowest price every day. And by Cadillac. Visit your San Diego Cadillac dealers today. We welcome you back to beautiful Miami. It's on the warm side outside. Roof is closed inside here. And actually, the roof has been closed for all 3 games of this 3-game series. Don Mattingly's lineup looks like this today, with Starlin Castro leading it off at second base. Brian Anderson in right. JT Realmuto doing the catching. Justin Bohr at first. Cameron Maben, the former Padre, in left. Lewis Brinson in center. Miguel Rojas at third. JT Riddle at short. And Jose Urena does the pitching and bats out of the number 9 spot. Clayton Richards' first pitch of the day is in there for strike 1. Starlin Castro leading it off and hitting a .293 coming into this contest. Puts it on the ground to third, where Villanueva is back at third base and throws out Castro. 1 down.
Take a look at Clayton Richard. Hey, call me Nostradamus. Grounders. First out, a grounder to Villanueva at third base, and he's got the wipeout slider.
I'm not calling you Nostradamus. I'm sorry.
No?
No.
Well, the infielders will be busy, and I've said this every time for Clayton. It's a mindset. It's getting in that rhythm, finding that release point early. If he can throw fewer than, I mean, the ideal thing was, you know, fewer than 12 pitches. I think that would be golden for Clayton Richard to get in that groove. And then you'll have quick innings. Infielders will be working for you.
1 down for Brian Anderson. Actually be having me call you the maestro.
The maestro?
Anderson hits at .307. 3 homers and 30 runs batted in.
I think being a maestro is like overrated. It's all eyewash. They got the music in front of them anyway.
I disagree. I had a chance to conduct a couple of symphonies.
I'm sure that sounded
Which
really
is
good.
in there for a strike, and it's 3-1. And the one thing I didn't realize was that the music doesn't start until you start.
Oh.
So it's very important, actually. I mean, I think some of the moves are overrated. I'll agree with you on that.
Right.
That's ball 4, and Richard walks Anderson with 1 down.
Take a look at the defense behind Clayton Richard. The Padres defense brought to you by your San Diego County Ford dealers. Travis Jankowski. He is in left field. In center field, Manuel Margot. In right field, Hunter Renfroe. On the infield, Christian Villanueva at third. Freddie Galvis, everyday Freddie, at shortstop. Jose Perella at second base. Eric Hosmer at first. And Rafi Lopez behind the plate, catching Clayton Richard.
1 out, 1 on. JT Realmuto coming up here for the Marlins. 296, 6 homers, and 20 runs batted in. And the recipient of strike 1 from Clayton Richard. A couple guys in this order you don't want to let beat you. Brian Anderson has quickly become one of those guys, and he is aboard at first base. We've seen him, the rookie this year in the season series, has been tremendous. But JT Realmuto, right in the middle of this lineup, is a guy you want to try to avoid having big things happen against.
Yeah, you know what? They've got guys who've got pop, but the one guy waiting on deck is the one threat, Justin Bohr. So you want to pitch to him with nobody on base. This is where the double play can come into play. He's grounded into 5 this year, Realmuto. But you're right about Anderson.
He got hit apparently on that pitch.
Wow.
Hearing it was Vic Carapazza, home plate umpire. Andy Green disagrees a lot. Said he heard it.
It hit his pant leg? The back leg, maybe?
Possibly. And Carapazza coming over here to talk directly to Andy Green. Umpires can review this, and it looks like they're going to.
Watch the back pant leg. Oh, they did get it.
They got him.
Yeah. See that?
And Green didn't think so right away. And he was hit by the pitch. 2 on, 1 out, and Justin Bohr coming up. Yeah, not sure if that was an umpire review, crew chief review, or whether or not that was an actual challenge by the Padres, but they did check it either way. Not sure if the Padres have lost their challenge or not. One thing that they do not announce. 2 on, 1 out, and Bohr, as you mentioned, power hitting first baseman for the Marlins. It's 10 home runs and a swing and a miss here for strike 1.
And another good play. Good guy to ground into a double play. He's grounded into 5. Does not have speed. Takes a big swing. If Clayton Richard can avoid that sweet spot, maybe jam him off the end of the bat, get a grounder on the infield.
Jumps ahead here, 0-2. Castro grounded out to third to begin the inning. Brian Anderson a walk. JT Realmuto hit with a pitch, grazed by a pitch. Runners at first and second. Now Bohr jumps back out of the way of a pitch in.
Really trying to jam him. You know, I just noticed Clayton Richard kind of tapping the chest with his glove. I'm sure Bohr wasn't looking at him. Let's see if he tries to go inside again. Nope, away.
And Bohr strikes out, goes lunging after that, becomes the first strikeout victim for Clayton Richard. 2 down. Let's take a look at the keys to the game, brought to you by your San Diego Honda dealer.
Clean D for Clayton. You know, if he's on his game, he's going to get ground balls, so no free passes for the Marlins, and continue to be clutch. We talked about it in our game open, how the Padres runners in scoring position with 2 outs, hitting .283, leading all of Major League Baseball.
2 down, runners at first and second. Cameron Maybin coming up. Fly ball, struck well to center. Margot going back onto the track to make the catch and then bang into the wall. That one went a long way for Cameron Maybin, back by the 4:07 marker, but Manuel Margot goes back on balls very well, able to make this catch right at the wall and then connects with the wall after the grab in center. Marlins strand 2, scoreless.
The 2018 Camping World MLB All-Star Ballots is open and exclusively online. Make sure your favorite Padres are represented on this year's squad by voting at Padres.com/vote. Catch all the excitement of the 89th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 17th live on Fox.
Second inning, scoreless after 1, and Hunter Renfroe back in the starting lineup today. He's had some pretty dramatic pinch hitting appearances coming off the bench and doing some damage as a pinch hitter, but today starting in right field. And you get 256, 3 homers, 15 runs batted in, and a liner down the left field line. Headed over to play it is Maben, but it gets all the way back to the track of the wall, and Renfroe glides into second base with a stand-up double. First hit of the game for the Padres, an extra base hit here for Hunter Renfroe.
Stay hot. Let's see what the pitch is. Urania. Remember I mentioned uncomfortable at bats, and then he can like throw a pitch right down the middle around the corner. That's 96. Hunter turns that one around and then some.
So Renfroe in scoring position instantly here in the second inning, and it brings up Christian Villanueva. .97 from Urania.
Yeah, that's electric stuff. Now put him on a team that's in the middle of the league as far as hitting and runs scored, right? Totally different record. More breathing room. Don't feel any pressure like you have to throw a shutout each and every time.
Yeah, he wouldn't be 1-7, I can tell you that. Averaging just over 3 runs a game. Third lowest among National League starters, minimum of 13 games pitched. Only guys with fewer run support, one of his teammates, Caleb Smith, gets 3.15 runs per game. And Alex Wood of the Dodgers up and in. 3-1 now to Christian Villanueva.
I think he tries to be too fine as well.
Probably feels he has to be, right?
Yeah. I mean, you've got movement at 96, 97 like that, and then you try to nibble at the corners. The ball's going to be off the plate by a good 6-8 inches.
That's a strike. Villanueva thought he had ball 4, but 97 and a full count now. Fourth career start for him against the Padres. Never beaten the Padres. 0-2 with a 3.24 earned run average. That pitch running in almost hit Villanueva, but he fouls it off. Now get some very good rookies in this series. Christian Villanueva and of course Brian Anderson of the Marlins. Villanueva with a .525 slugging percentage, 15 homers, 35 runs batted in, and about 74 hits for Brian Anderson. 30 RBIs.
Opposite ends of the spectrum, huh, as far as hitting is concerned, the type of hitters.
Yeah, different styles.
Yep.
Fouls off the 3-2, and we'll do it again.
He just threw a 90-mile-an-hour changeup. Either that or he's throwing a BP fastball, but I'm electing to say it's a changeup because the 96, 97-mile-an-hour fastball has got a lot of movement to it. He's out in front of that last changeup.
Another one fouled off. Another 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
Talked to Dave Van Horn, the Hall of Fame broadcaster on radio for these Florida/Miami Marlins this weekend, and he said Urania is a kid who really is coachable. He wants to learn. He's soaking it all in, and that's kind of refreshing. There's Dave, DVH, Hall of Famer right there. Good man. Going back to the Expo days.
Going with the stick, Mike, what you want to do.
Old school.
Swing and a miss, and Villanueva frustrated as he strikes out. Second strikeout for Urania. One down here in the second.
Well, he wants it down and away. Real Muto was set up down and away, but 87 breaking ball, a hanger just out of the zone upstairs.
So one out, Renfroe at second base, and Freddie Galvis coming up.
Galvis coming in, hitting at .236, 3 homers and 21 runs batted in. This one will get away, and moving to third base is Renfroe. Home plate umpire Vic Carapazzo was in the way there initially, as JT Realmuto had to get around him to recover that.
See if this ball hits the dirt. Yeah, out in front of home plate. Realmuto tries to go first baseman and pick it with the backhand rather than getting down on his knees and taking that one in the chest protector.
So wild pitch charged here to Urania. Falling behind Freddie now 3-0. Galvis moving on up in the order. Bats 6th in the order today. Swinging 3-0, drives one to center field. Brinson going back to make the catch in front of the track. Tagging and scoring from third base is Hunter Renfroe. Sac fly for Freddie Galvis. The Padres strike first and take a 1-0 lead.
Looks like Freddie not trying to do too much here. That ball catches a lot of the plate. Boy, I tell you what, Urania early on, he's missing big time, or he's throwing it right down the middle of the plate. Nice easy swing. Yeah, hard holding back the smiles for Freddie. Looks like the ball kind of dying out there also today.
Yeah, I thought I had a little more than
I thought it did
had.
too.
But still enough to get the job done. The sacrifice fly picks up his 22nd RBI. This one just glances off the glove of JT Realmuto. 2-0. Marco, a .216 average coming in, a home run, 16 runs batted in. Ball's behind 3-0. Yeah, there's no real gray area here right now for him. You're right.
No.
He's either missing badly or it's down the middle.
Yep.
Rafi Lopez waiting on deck, catching back-to-back games. That's a strike on the outside corner.
And how about paint at 97, right?
There you go. He's got it. In the air to right field. Back goes Anderson. Has room and makes the catch in front of the warning track that ends the inning. But the Padres get a run, take a 1-0 lead to the bottom of the second.
coming out for his second inning of work. He is absolutely legendary for his work ethic and his commitment to what he does in between innings to get himself, in between outings to get himself ready for his next start. But what's interesting is there's one part of his routine that is not set in stone, and that is actually his bullpen sessions. Now, most guys work between 25 to 35 pitches in their bullpen sessions in between starts, but not Clayton. Sometimes he'll throw 20, 25, but it's not unusual, guys, for him to throw 5. There's even a rumor that one time he threw 1. He says, look, I do need to get ready for my next start, but I also have to think about the starts coming up in September. Where did he learn that? From Mark Burley when he was with the White Sox. He said he actually saw Burley one time throw a bullpen in the clubhouse. So it's interesting to see this veteran conserve himself and whether that becomes something the young guys can learn from. Guys, back over to you.
All right, Scan, thanks very much. So that's a bang-bang play at first base there as Perella looked up and saw that Brinson was almost to the bag at first, then fired it to first base. Brinson's got very good speed and got down the line quickly.
Yeah, that was very good hustle by Brinson, knowing that Perella's got to go to his left. How close was it? Brinson says safe. With a little double clutch right there. Ooh, that's going to be close.
That's close. I think they'd have a tough time overturning that.
Yeah.
And the Marlins are not going to review. So 4-3 on the put out of Brinson. That was close, though.
Hey, good report there by Bob Scanlon. Thanks, Bob. And I was talking to Clayton once, and I was talking about throwing in the bullpen prior to a game. And I remember warming up. You know, I'd throw like 40 to 50 pitches, maybe even more. And Clayton said there are times, like Bob said, in his bullpen session, but this is like going into the game, like today. I don't know how many he threw out there, but he said maybe 8, 12. I'm like, you're kidding me. He goes, no, why? If I get the feel early, why should I leave it all out there? Once I get that feel, it's like I shut it down.
I know in watching Pedro Martinez over the years, pretty much second half of the season, he would not have a bullpen.
Yeah.
Just go out there in his normal starts.
He's good enough to do that, you know. I think certain types of
like
pitchers.
he was wasting bullets, I think, in some instances, especially late in his career.
But I don't know about you, but I was one of those guys where I always felt like maybe I was cheating myself if I didn't have a full bullpen session in between. I mean, looking back, I think I was probably foolish and wasting a lot of bullets unnecessarily in bullpens and pregame. How about you?
I agree. You know, growing up, and I'm not saying in my era generation, but it's almost as like you were taught unless you didn't hurt or extend yourself to the point where you're spent, you didn't work hard enough. That's the way I was taught. Does that make sense?
More was always better, right?
Exactly. Thank you. That's the perfect way to put it. More was better.
And I think it's the same for hitters, though, too, as far as batting practice goes. Extra BP.
I remember Tony getting in the cage a couple times and telling me stories about how he would take one hack. I'm good. Okay, let's go. Then there were times when he would, you know, actually, you know, getting the hands through first and hitting the ball to the left side, hooking the ball down the right, whatever the case was, you know, and then it would take extra hacks.
Seemed like his tee work was legendary on the tee.
Very much so.
Mud, to your point, one time in A-ball, I threw a bullpen for 4 innings. I kid you not.
How many pitches?
It was one of those games where, you know, we rolled into town. Everybody was tired. We got to the ballpark late, so they said, Scan, just go ahead and do your bullpen, you know, after the first inning. I'm like, okay, no problem. So I started throwing, and it was one of those, you know, I'm young. I'm not feeling my slider. I just kept throwing it and throwing it and throwing it. Finally, my catcher says, Scan, it's the top of the 4th. I think we need to shut it down.
That's pretty funny.
This one out towards right center. Over comes Margot to make the catch for out number 2. So 2 down to the second time now for the Kia drive to success. Clayton Richard coming into his 14th start of the year, and most starts with 7+ innings this year. Clayton Richard's got 6 of them. Jacob deGrom of the Mets with 8, tied with Scherzer and Michaelis.
And that's important because when you have the bullpen like the Padres do, and we just featured them in our game open, Yates, Stammen, Hand. It's good to have those arms down there when you got a pitcher that can go 7 innings.
So, Scan, I am curious, how did you do in your next outing after that 4-inning bullpen?
You know, when you're 18, you don't even notice the difference. I'm sure I didn't pitch very well, though. That wasn't a great year for me. But I remember it vividly. It was in Burlington, Vermont, and I remember just feeling like Mark was saying, more is better. If you don't feel it, keep throwing until you feel it. I never felt it, and some people would say I still never got the feel for that slider, even in the big leagues. Maybe my career would have been longer. Who knows?
To Perella on a couple of hops at second, and that will end the inning. Richard has a 1-2-3 second. Padres have a 1-0 lead.
Oh, yeah. Wearing the Padre jersey. Hey, you know what? He probably doesn't know what's going on, but he just likes to see that away jersey that the Padres are wearing and, you know, a finger in the mouth. And life is good. Right? He's sitting on Dad's lap.
It's all good.
Yeah. That's great.
Well, his Padres enjoy a 1-0 advantage. So we play here into the third inning. And Rafi Lopez lead it off here. Urania just 1 of 7 first pitch strikes and 6 straight first pitch balls. That's a tough way to operate. So far only given up the 1 run. But I feel like he's sort of effectively wild.
Good call. Pitching coach Don Orsillo chiming in there. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. See, like that pitch right there.
You got to hit the ball once in a while.
And maybe sometimes, you know, if you, and I love the expression Bob Scanlon uses all the time, dotting the fastball, right? You throw a pitch like that or one up and into where you got to do the limbo rock and then you dot one dot like that right there.
To second and picked by Castro for the first out of the third inning. Clayton Richards coming up. He likes hitting here at Marlins Park. Take you back to last year's Players Weekend. And the second home run of his career right down the line in right field. Yeah, Clayton, you can count it. Of course, he hit a 3-run home run this year at Coors Field. Now grounds one to the shortstop, JT Riddle. And there are 2 outs here in the third inning.
Now, if I'm a teammate of Clayton Richards, he went deep here, right?
Yeah.
He's coming back to the dugout, and I'm a pitcher, a fellow pitcher. I'm getting right up in his grill and saying, dude, come on, shake yourself. You go deep here last year, and you got that weak ground ball to the right side? Seriously? And you know what? He'd probably smile from ear to ear, or I'd get a left right into the jaw.
5 in a row retired by Urania.
Really? That's all you got?
And it brings up Travis Jankowski back to the game. Pitch in there for a strike. I thought what you were going to say was that because he had to run down to first base, that if you're a good teammate, Travis Jankowski, you'll take a little bit of time to get in the box because there are now 2 outs in the inning, giving Clayton some time in the dugout to get his breath back, you know.
His breath back?
No, but
he's
you
in such good shape. He doesn't need to get his breath back.
Came up with some Anything else that someone might say to Clayton? I don't think anybody would say that to Clayton, to be honest with you. Too much respect for Clayton Richard.
Oh, come on. I respect the heck out of the guy, but you got to have a little fun.
2-1 pitch. Fly ball, center field, over towards right center, and hit pretty well, but Brinson's back there on the edge of the track to make the catch. 1-0 Padres after 2.5.
Working the corners, glove side. This is against the Dodgers. Justin Turner, but see the pinpoint control with that fastball on the inside part of the plate. Rafi Lopez set up inside, whether it's the breaking ball or the fastball. What that does, you can go up, down, and then for the kill inside for the called strike 3. If he's got that locked in, watch out. It's going to be a good afternoon for Clayton Richard.
The highest percentage of pitchers on the corner of the strike zone, 9.9. This one sliced foul off to the right out of play.
That's getting it done. Kyle Hendricks, we know that he throws strikes. He's got pinpoint control. Alex Wood.
0-2 pitch. Urania will strike out for the first out here of the 3rd inning. Second strikeout for Clayton Richard. He was able to strike out more in the first. Gets Urania here in the 3rd. And it's back up top now for Starlin Castro.
You know what? I think I've had enough of your act. I think next half inning, I'm going to go over to radio. What do you think of that?
What is the problem? I didn't do anything. 1 out. I may remind you, you're the one that said when I go sun tanning,
It's an eclipse.
there's always clouds because I block the sun. And you've had enough of me? This one fouled off to the right out of play. Really?
I know our road trip was kind of throwing a changeup, if you will, because of the off day here in Miami, and it rained. And
it was nasty. It wasn't a good bronzing day. So you're going to leave? Pitch in there for a strike, and not liking it at all is Castro. He's pointing. That's never a good thing. The home plate umpire.
We just got done talking about the inside fastball. This is in off the plate.
Yep.
Just a little bit, but still the same idea right there for Clayton Richard. Great glove side control on the fastball for the called 3rd.
2 down for Brian Anderson, and we are an out away from Tony Gwynn Jr. coming into the booth for the next 3 innings. We'll soon be in a mud-free zone. In there for a strike, and it's 1-1.
Where does Brian Anderson like to see pitches, and how does he get his hits? Well, right down the middle. obviously, but he goes down and gets him with 9. He can turn on it. Look at 17. He likes to turn on the pitch inside. And there's a pitch in.
On the ground to third. Villanueva throws to first. And it's 1-0 Padres in the end of Mark Grant for the next 3 innings. By Sequan Casino, opening in 2019 is Sequan's brand new 300-room resort and hotel. And by Petco, the pet company. Back in beautiful Miami, third and final game of the series. Good start so far for Clayton Richard. He's thrown 37 pitches through the first 3. He's retired his last 8 in a row, and 3 by way of the K. 3 ground ball outs during that time, and it has been impressive so far today as we welcome in Tony Gwynn Jr.
Yeah, much like we've been seeing from Clayton over the last 6 or 7 starts. His command of the fastball has been fantastic. His slider seems to be a little bit sharper and really attacking these hitters both sides of the plate and keeping them off balance.
Richard pitching well. The Padres have provided 1 run for him so far. Sacrifice fly for Freddie Galvis that scored Hunter Renfroe. Eric Hosmer will send this one into right center field. And Brian Anderson over to play it, but Hosmer aboard to begin things here in the 4th inning. We talked a little bit about Urania so far in this game. He's a little bit on the wild side, but it's like effectively wild.
It is. It's keeping the Padre hitters honest because it is. While you see Haas gets a pitch in the middle of the zone, puts that great level swing on it. He's on board with a single. But you're right. Urania's been all over the place, especially with the command of his changeup. He doesn't seem to have a feel for it yet, and we've already seen 1 wild pitch because of it.
Comes in with some tough-looking numbers, especially record-wise, 1 and 7, but that's not really indicative of the way that he's pitches. No support.
It's not, and you look back to last year, he had over 5 runs of support as a starter, and had a much better year. So I think it's really a matter of them having a different offense than they had last year.
Yeah, they certainly do.
You're missing guys like Stanton and Yelich, Ozuna. I mean, those are their 3 top RBI guys for the past few years, and they're no longer here.
No, it's a much different looking Marlins team this year. Now Hosmer at first. Perella did go around as they check with first base umpire Greg Gibson, and now they check on Hosmer at first base.
Urania has been doing a good job for the most part of trying to stay in on the Padre hitters, not letting them get their arms extended.
A little closer, but Hosmer back again. Urania's only given up 2 hits. The double by Renfroe in the 2nd inning, and the leadoff single here by Hosmer. Down the right field line, but foul. Well, important game here today for the Padres. A chance to win their 4th series in a row.
Yeah, they've done a terrific job over the last 4 series. Really over the last month of baseball. They did a much better job of executing, whether it be offensively or defensive. Clearly, with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, they're coming through big time.
In the air down the right field line. Anderson over towards the seats and into foul ground to make the catch. Varela retired for the first out of the inning. Yeah, timely hitting has been pretty impressive for the Padres.
And you know, Andy Green was asked about it yesterday. Didn't want to feed too much into it, but at some point, these guys are coming through with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. So that means they're at least locking in that time period. So, you know, they're not swinging the bats as well with nobody on and no out. So you can find some medium between both of those. Still a good formula.
This guy on fire right now. Hunter Renfroe standing in. He's already contributed with a double today as they check on Hosmer again.
I talked to him a little bit yesterday about what's been different, and said he's kind of opened up a little bit so he could use both of his eyes, and it just, when you watch him, he just looks a lot more calm at the plate.
A lot more selective too,
yeah.
I think
that kind of comes with that calmness. When you're not as jumpy, you're seeing the baseball better. He's obviously opened up, so he's using both of his eyes now, and he's, even before he went on a DL, I thought he was moving in the right direction compared to last year.
Seems like he's in these types of counts now all the time.
And that's what it's about. For a guy like him who can drive the ball out really anywhere on the field, he just wants to be in aggressive counts. And in 2-0, you've seen him a lot take pitches that maybe aren't the ones he wants to attack.
Wanted to attack this one, but he was out ahead of it. Nice grab. Ball attended down the left field line. Just sharply hit.
Certainly don't mind 2-0 getting the head out. Line his ball as he lines it. This young man down the line makes a nice stab. Gets an ovation from, I guess they would say, a big crowd.
A crowd. Foul outside third and turned it on a couple of these fastballs. 2-2.
Urania going in a little bit further on that pitch. And that's how he seemed to have pitched the right-handed hitters for the Padres, pounding them in with the 2-seam fastball. But because he hasn't had the command with the changeup, it's been tough to put guys away.
In the air to left field. Maben moving over to his left to make the catch below the cap high for out number 2.
One of the first times Urania has been able to execute that changeup there. Keeps it at the bottom of the zone. Renfroe just a hair out in front of that and flies out to left.
2 down here in the 4th inning with Hosmer at first base. He led off with a single to right center field. Still there with 2 down in the inning, and it brings up Christian Villanueva. Struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. In the air, foul off to the left, out of play.
I think Villanueva would like that last at bat back. He'd like that last pitch back too. I mean, he's at the big league level. You're probably getting 1.5 pitches per at bat to really hit. This is a hanging slider, and we've seen him deposit that ball over the left field wall quite a few times this year. Seems like he's just a little bit off right now swinging the bat.
97 and running in.
Again, that hard sinker and off the plate. The right-handed hitters for the Padres are going to have to be disciplined to keep Urania right on the plate.
He's going to get another one. And he sends one to left field, and that's going to get in for a base hit. Hosmer takes second base. And Villanueva aboard for the first time. 3rd Padres hit, 2nd of the inning.
It's a good job by Villanueva. It's too close to take. This ball's right on the corner. Just fights it off. Gets his hands inside of it enough and finds some outfield grass. Dumped this ball right in front of Maben. Padres with runners on 1st and 2nd.
Brings up Freddie Galvis. His sac fly, the difference in the game right now. Foul tip that time on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Here's what we were talking about. Highest with runners in scoring position with 2 outs on the year. 287 the batting average for the Padres. First in the majors. Grounder this time right side. Castro will go to first. And Galvis is retired. So are the Padres in the fourth. San Diego on top 1-0.
Be able to do better or just expand on what they actually do very well and focus on that instead of focus on the negatives and what's happened that's not been so good in their career. They seem to get, like I said, it takes courage to change a little bit, but they seem to get a little bit of confidence and do what they do best.
That's Darren Balsley talking about the magic touch that he seems to have with veteran pitchers that come over to the Padres. Brad Hand, Kirby Yates, Jordan Lyles, Tyson Ross. Clayton Richard is a great example of the courage that Darren talks about, because we know that Clayton has changed so many things about his pitching style over just in the last couple of years. The arm slot has changed even this year. And on the other side of the coin, Clayton talks about how much Darren cares. He says that is the #1 thing that the veteran guys connect with. They know that he cares about their career and is not going to do a complete overhaul. Just find what they do best. Guys, back over to you.
All right, Scan, thanks very much. And I'd like you to actually talk a little bit more about what Clayton has done differently this year.
Well, the big thing is the arm slot, which of course he lowered after his thoracic outlet syndrome or surgery that he had. And he felt like that was more comfortable for him for a while. But then this year he felt like opposing hitters were getting too good a look at that arm slot. And so he changed his arm slot. He raised it back up 6 inches or so. And, you know, a lot of veteran guys say, look, I've been consistent with this. I've been successful with something. And they're afraid to make a change. Clayton has had the courage to say, I want to get better. Darren, what can we do about this? Change the arm slot. Struggled with it for a couple of outings, as you know, guys, but the last 5 or 6 have been absolutely money.
Well, it seems like he's still getting a lot of ground ball outs, which is a big key for him as he strikes out Real Muto here to begin things in the 4th inning. But you know, he changed that arm slot a little bit. Doesn't seem to be affecting the way he pitches, though.
No,
it's better.
You're 100% right, and I think this is the biggest result is that slider now seems to have more bite to it. We've seen a lot more swings and misses over that slider, whereas in the past he didn't get a lot of swing and misses. He got outs with it, but not swing and misses. And I think by raising that arm slot a little bit, it's given that breaking ball, that slider, a little more depth, and it's a little bit sharper.
Tony, I'm always fascinated. I know what it's like from a pitcher standpoint, from a hitter's standpoint. You know, pitching, we change something but just a few inches, but it makes a huge difference in terms of what you see there as the ball's coming in, doesn't it?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, a lot of guys who have a lower arm slot, it's easier to find the ball. There's really nothing out on the side of a pitcher that kind of prevents you from seeing it. Whereas, you know, your standard guys who are a little bit higher, You got to deal with different elements of their shoulders and their body that sometimes prevent you from getting that longer look at the baseball.
On the stretch right now, Richards retired 9 in a row and a ground ball right side. Perella will go to first. Board has not run well, and he is out number 2 here, the 4th inning. And get 10 in a row retired by Clayton Richard. And his ground ball out, number 5 into his outing.
Stayed out of the middle of the plate for the most part thus far in this game. Corners are off the plate for a ball. He's used both up and down in the zone and keeping these Marlins hitters off balance.
Brings up Cameron Maben, flying out to the warning track in center field in the 1st inning. Now chops one towards short. Galvis going to play the high hop. The throw is there in time. Nice play by Freddie Galvis. That was tremendous. Had to wait a while for that high hopper, and then an off-balance throw, really kind of backing up as he was throwing it to first base. Throws it accurately to first and retires Maben. Nice play by Galvis, and Clayton Richard likes it.
Lead things off, and he has made a change. He's worked very hard on. Now the left is what he was doing early in the season. See how the knee comes straight up, and then the head is moving all over the place. It actually drops. Now on the right is the adjustment. Watch the knee, how it goes back first. He loads a little bit. Now when he swings, the head much more steady. That hit actually right there against a right-hand pitcher. He has worked extremely hard, guys, in making that little change, but it's made a huge difference.
Soft grounder to third, and Margot is out number 1 of the 5th inning. Tony, what have you seen from Margot in that regard?
That's exactly it right there. That is what you call tucking that knee underneath. You saw the first clip, I think it was on the left side. His leg is coming straight up, which means his weight is harder to control as far as when that front foot lands. Now that he's tucking it underneath himself, it's a little bit easier to control that balance. You see it come underneath. Actually, that one kind of looked like he went straight up a little bit, which may have caused. Oh no, it's tucked underneath. But that's really what he's looking for on a consistent basis, because it's easier to control your body when you're able to kind of bring it underneath you as opposed to just bringing it straight up. Your head falls, your body falls forward. Tougher to execute a good swing.
He's out number 1 here, the 5th inning. Rafael Lopez grounded out to second base first time up.
That side angle is always the best angle to see from a mechanic standpoint what's going on. When you get the center field version, it looks good. You get to see the ball off the bat, but it's really tough to tell mechanically what the body's doing.
Tony, you know what's interesting? As a pitcher, we can actually see that.
2 down in the inning. Go ahead, Scan.
I know it's subtle, but it's one of the things that we look for as pitchers when a guy is approaching the ball, especially on a take. You can tell when he's got too much of his momentum going forward, and what that alerts us is, okay, this guy is lunging a little bit.
Yeah.
The head is moving forward. That means that he's going to be very susceptible to the off-speed pitch. So I throw him a fastball, make him think that he's going to see one, and then I can come right back with something slow and off-speed, and there's no way that he can stay back. Now, when I see a guy keep his head steady like Manny's doing now, much more difficult for me to try to set him up back and forth.
That's dead on. Just think about it, a ball coming in at 93, if your head is going and your body is going towards a baseball you've sped that ball up 3-4 miles per hour, 93 turns into 96. Off speed, it's just tougher to pick the ball up or spin for that matter. So it's all the stiller your head can be at the plate, the more success you're going to have, the easier it is to replicate the swing.
Richard fouls this off, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, and credit to Manny Margot. It sort of goes back to what we were just talking about with Clayton Richard, the courage to make changes and try to make yourself better. Manny had to have the courage to try to make this change mid-season.
Yeah.
Not easy to do. Oftentimes we see guys actually go back down to AAA to try to make those adjustments, but he's been able to do it here at the big league level through hard work.
Well, Richard strikes out looking. A 1-2-3 inning for Urania. Halfway through, 1-0 San Diego.
Military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
1-0 Padres have the lead here in Game 3 of this 3-game series against the Miami Marlins, and it's time now for our Valley View Casino trivia question. I don't know why we're on camera for it, but time now for our Valley View. Brad Hand appeared in 90 games with the Marlins from 2011 through 2015. How many saves did he record with the Marlins? Is the answer Tony Gwynn? This one is down the left field line and foul. We'll have the answer for you a little bit later. But my guess with the Marlins, I'm going to say 0. Just throw it out there and say you never had a save with the Marlins.
I'm going to say 1.
1. Okay. See what happens. Lewis Brinson grounded out to second base in the second. Brinson's got good speed. We're excited about Brinson, and he has stayed up here at the major league level this year and drives one to right field. Renfroe back onto the warning track, but will have room. Makes the catch out there shy of the wall for out number 1 with a few flyouts. Say hello to some guys in the pen.
This ball, I think, carried a little bit more than maybe Renfroe initially expected. Nevertheless, he gets back there and gets underneath it.
Yeah, I think his catch got graded out there by Kirby Yates. Phil Hughes out there and Brad Handler letting them know what they think. One out in the 5th. Late timeout call there, and this time not throwing it was Clayton Richard.
Marlins hitters have looked uncomfortable all day long with Clayton's tempo.
Trying to step out and slow him up a little bit, break up the routine.
It's tough though, because Clayton doesn't get off the rubber. This was something that I remember facing him and having the same issues. You just feel like you're rushed the entire time, the entire at bat.
To third and picked down there by Villanueva. His throw in plenty of time. 2 down.
Continues to get the ground ball.
13 in a row retired now by Richard.
Balls are at the bottom of the zone, at least on contact, and when Clayton is at the bottom of the zone and out of the middle of the plate, we've seen over the last 6 or 7 starts how effective he can be.
Brings up JT Riddle, who grounded out to second base.
Again, that new arm slot just really seems to has changed the type of break and the sharpness of that slider. It's a noticeable difference in how guys are swinging at it.
It's like they don't read it well.
Yeah, and it probably, I'm guessing the way they're swinging it looks exactly like that fastball that he uses, but that because they're not picking up the spin, ends up breaking down and away or down and in on these guys.
Walked a batter, hit a batter back in the 1st inning. That has been it in a stretch right now where he's retired 13 in a row. Up the middle, Barella will charge in, throw on the run, and in time. Well, almost handcuffed Hosmer at first base on the throw, but he makes the play. And Riddle is retired. A 1-2-3 5th inning for Richard, but he's getting some help from his defense as well as friends. Jose Barella on the play. It's 1-0 Padres. Valley View Casino trivia question. Brad Hand appearing in 90 games with the Marlins, 2011, 2015. How many saves did he have with the Marlins? And the answer is 1. You were right, Tony Gwynn Jr.
What a guess.
April 4, 2014. It was actually against the Padres. Maybe you saw it.
I do remember him getting a save with the Marlins. I didn't know who it was against, but I remember hearing about it at some point, and he stepped into this closer role and has treated it like he's been there for a long time.
And now doing all kinds of different things. We've seen him work in the 8th inning a lot and getting the 2-inning save, which has happened also now on occasion.
Yeah, he's a Swiss Army knife as it pertains to the bullpen. Whether you want to bring him in the 7th, you want to get 2 innings out of him, 8 and 9. It just really seems like Andy Green determines where the lineup is and decides to use him or not.
Up the middle and out of the reach of Castro. Travis Jankowski aboard with a leadoff single to begin things here in the 6th inning.
Who says ground balls don't work? Travis Jankowski, really, since he's been inserted in that leadoff spot, the Padres have taken off, and it's been in large part because this guy is on base often.
Can have your launch angle right there.
There's nothing wrong with the ground ball single, I promise you. Especially in Freddie's case where he can run, he's definitely a threat.
Eric Hosmer with a swing and a miss for strike one. 1 for 2 day today for the Padres first baseman. Rounding out his second in the first, singled to right center field in the 4th inning. 4 for 10 now in the series. They shift on him. Riddle, the shortstop, coming to the right side, and throw over to check on Jankowski. We'll get you a game break coming up. Check in on the Reds and Cardinals. Of course, the Padres after the ball game today heading to St. Louis to begin a series against the Cardinals.
It's always interesting to watch base runners in a park that's not their own. We know in San Diego, you get to that cutout, that's probably maximum. That's probably your maximum lead. Here, guys got to get out early to find out where that spot is. All cutouts are different at each stadium. This cutout is a little bit further out than in San Diego. If you make the mistake of just assuming that the cutout is the spot you want to be, you're going to be too far off the bag.
A little different everywhere, huh?
It is.
I imagine the track is different too.
Oh yeah, you go to different stadiums and they'll water that track a little bit more, make it a little more muddy and messy. Can't get the best push off. But if you're playing a team that likes to run, usually you get a good surface to run on.
Hosmer cranks it foul down the left field line, out of play, and it evens now at 2-2. Fouled off a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Urania throwing anywhere between 96 and 97 miles per hour with the 90 to 91 mile per hour changeup. Very rarely has he flipped the slider in, but he's done a good job of mixing up the pace of going to the plate, keeping Jankowski up first. There's that hard changeup, 89 miles per hour.
Now payoff pitch coming up here to Eric Hosmer with nobody out, and Jankowski at first. There goes Jankowski. Hosmer swings and lifts one in the air to deep left center field. Back goes Brinson at the wall, and that ball is gone. A 2-run home run for Eric Hosmer, and the Padres take a 3-0 lead. Home run number 8 of the year for Hosmer. Drives it out to left center field, and the Padres lead it 3-0.
Eric Hosmer has been the one consistent guy in this lineup, displaying that opposite field power. Watch him just stay back and drive through this ball. That hard changeup. Urania leaves it up in the zone, and when you see that lean back pose right there, usually means good things for the Padres.
A single and a 2-run home run. A great start to the 6th inning. A 3-0 Padres lead. Jose Pirela 0 for 2.
It's the one problem with having a changeup that's that hard. If you leave it up in the zone, it's basically a fastball. And a guy like Eric Hosmer, especially the way he's swinging right now, is not going to miss that pitch.
8th home run of the year for Hosmer. Now a grounded to third, deep third, picked there by Rojas. Long throw, and it's off the mark. Ward did not come off the bag, gets by him, trying to get to second is Pirela, and he will be out at second base. Now Bohr, who did not come off the bag initially, got a quick carom off the short fencing down there and turned and fired to second base and was able to get Pirela. He got to it very quickly, and Pirela retired for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, Jose hits this ball down the line. Rojas makes a tremendous play. His glove work is very nice in this National League, but the throw is up the line. And Jose Pirela did not do a good job of reading that ball. They have not very much foul ground out there. That ball ricochets off the wall perfect carom to Bohr, and he makes the throw to throw Perella out at second.
So it is a base hit for Perella initially. Then retired 3-4 at second base. This one lying down the left field line, and nice grab down there.
You see him look, and he doesn't really read it right because his eyes were right on the ball. He saw it carom off. But I think at that point he had already committed to going to second and tried to beat it out.
It's credit for a single. Renfroe 1 for 2, a double in the second inning.
See, when Hunter is laying off some of these pitches in off the plate, it may not seem like a big deal, but you're not seeing the hard takes where he's flinching at the ball. It's just he's reading it out of the hand well.
Ball 3. Just off the outside edge at 97. Christian Villanueva waiting on deck. One down here in the Padres' 6th inning. And a fly ball hit down the left field line, but it's going to be headed foul.
Once again, that hard changeup, 92 mph. This one is better located, but it's in the middle of the plate. And again, you're playing with fire when you're in the middle of the plate with that kind of changeup.
So you're talking about 97 and 92, about a 5-mile-an-hour difference from your fastball to your changeup.
Right, not a lot.
Swing and a miss. He does get Renfroe, and it's on the fastball.
Arco, quality top-tier gas for less.
2 down here in the 6th inning after the strikeout of Renfroe, and it brings up Christian Villanueva. Strikeout number 4 for Urania. Villanueva has one of those strikeouts. So is back in the 2nd inning. Single to left in the 4th inning. Turns on this, but fouls it off. Another good grab by a fan with a glove. Seen some nice catches here today at Marlins Park.
Glove work has been tremendous all day. Both teams, the fans, the ball boys, everybody's doing it today.
Some good defense. Swing and a miss, and Villanueva strikes out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Urania. But a 2-run home run for Eric Hosmer, his 8th home run of the year. RBIs 29 and 30. Padres have taken a 3-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the 6th. 6. Got him in the straight. 3-0. The Padres on top now of the Miami Marlins. To the bottom of the 6th inning we go, and it is Yadiel Rivera who is pinch hitting here. For the pitcher Urania. Rivera had started some games at Petco Park in that 4-game series, but he's been coming off the bench here in this series against the Padres. So that is it for Urania today. He went the first 6 innings of this game. Ends up giving up the 3 runs the Padres have. Off balance swing, and it's 1-2.
Based off of the numbers, the Padres only need 1 more run to assure Urania doesn't get any love for this game. Once again, no run support for the Marlins.
Seems like there is one guy on every staff who has that. In this case, there's 2 guys. Cam Smith, also in the league leaders of lack of run support. And it's just the Marlins in general having trouble scoring runs.
And when you lose 3 big guns that they lost over the offseason, it's not going to be easy to replace those guys.
Swing and a miss. Off balance cut, got away from Lopez briefly. Fires down to first base. That is strikeout number 5 for Clayton Richard. Let's check back in with Bob Scanlon.
It's time for the top tier plays brought to you by Arco, and obviously this has to go to Clayton Richard. He's been outstanding today at keeping the ball down in the zone. 8 ground outs, 5 strikeouts on the day so far. He's retired the last 15 in a row, and he's just done an outstanding job, as I said, of keeping the fastball and the slider down in the zone today, guys. He hasn't even needed to elevate very much. He's been down at the knees.
1 down, and this is straightened up Starlin Castro. Behind here, 2-0. Not seen a lot of this today.
Very rarely. I think he might have had another count like that in the first.
Yes, he walked Brian Anderson. It's 65 coming up here. Been very economical. We had 1 out in the 6th inning, and he falls behind 3-0. Retired 15 in a row with 1 down here in the 6th inning. That is ball 4, and down to first base goes Castro. So the 2nd walk given up by Clayton Richard of his outing. Only 1 other batter has reached. That was JT Realmuto, hit by a pitch in the 1st. So 1 out, 1 on, and that'll bring up Brian Anderson.
Said haven't seen too many missed pitches by Clayton Richard all game long, and walks the 2nd hitter for the Marlins, and now the heart of their lineup starting to come up.
Anderson fouling it off. Yeah, these are the guys you got to worry about, especially now, really all 3. Anderson, Realmuto, and Bohr, 2, 3, and 4 in this lineup. Bohr, from a power perspective, certainly with double figures in home runs on the year with 10.
This is their best hitter right here. Anderson leads 5 or 6 rookie categories. If he's not first, he's 2nd in them.
Outfield pretty much straight away here on Anderson. He can spray it to all fields. And grounds one back to Richard. He'll go to 2nd base. They get 1 there, and that's it. Throw was to the 3rd base side of 2nd, and pull Perella off the bag. The umpire on the move there, I think, was part of it. Richard's kind of laughing out there at Jerry Lane, but Lane was in the way initially when Clayton Richard went to make this throw.
Gotta let it go, Clayton. See the throw up on the shortstop side. Perella actually does a nice job catching it first and then worrying about tagging the bag after, as opposed to trying to stretch it out and maybe that ball gets in the outfield.
So Anderson aboard at first base, and going over there right away is Richard. You can see Clayton kind of looking up, about ready to throw, and looking right at Jerry Lane. It's not where he wanted to be looking.
Yeah, Lane was at the start of the play. Lane was moving into that throwing lane.
Yes. He's heading in the wrong direction.
Clayton, being the nice man he is, allowed Lane to kind of get out the way.
And laughed about it
Right.
afterwards.
I know plenty of pitchers in this league that would have been furious.
Yeah. Shows you what kind of guy Clayton Richard is.
It does.
Now dealing with Real Muto and falling behind here 2-0.
See Clayton being very careful with Real Muto. Although he hasn't had a hit in this series yet, he's still a very dangerous hitter.
Hovering around 300 all season. The 296 coming in. And a grounder foul outside of third. The breakdown per inning for Richard. First the most. First inning in which he walked Anderson, hit Real Muto, then battled to strike out Bohr and got Maybin to fly out to center to end that first inning, but saw 17 pitch first inning. Fouled off to the right and out of play.
There hasn't even really been any solid swings. I can think of Maybin's, the ball he flew out to center with. I mean, maybe you can put Brinson in there on the ball he flew out to right, but not very many good swings off of Clayton Richard all game long.
Payoff pitch. And it is lined to center. Margot, he is there, and he makes the catch. It ends the inning. Clayton Richard has not allowed a hit through the first 6 from Miami. Stellar on the day as Richard so far going the first 6 innings of this game. First run coming on a Freddie Galvis sac fly out to center field. Plenty deep enough for Renfroe to tag and score. Padres had a 1-0 lead till Hosmer lifts this one out to left center field. 2-run shot is the Padres a 3-0 advantage that they currently enjoy heading into the 7th inning. Here are the numbers. 6 innings for Richard. Jose Urania leaves after 6 innings, giving him 6 hits, charged with 3 runs. On the hook, didn't walk anybody. Struck out 5, and Eric Hosmer with his first home run ever in Miami. 2 for 3 day today for Haas.
New pitcher on the mound for the Marlins, Eliezer Hernandez. We saw Hernandez last night in the 6th inning. He threw an inning. He gave up a hit. Zeros all the way across. He's a starter. He's a reliever. He's that swing guy. And once again, we mentioned it yesterday how getting into the bullpen,
Well, maybe the Padres can add on even more after that 2-run shot off the bat of Eric Hosmer.
Freddie Galvis shortening up to show bunt, pulls it back and takes a strike. Saw the sac fly for Galvis, getting his 22nd RBI of the year. Rounded out in bat number 2 today. And down 0-2. Welcome back, Mark Grant, into the broadcast booth.
Thanks, Donnie. It's good to be back.
How'd you do today?
Well pitched
Nicely.
game, right?
Yes.
Clean, crisp. Good old-fashioned pitcher's duel, I think, is an announcer's dream, right?
Absolutely. It's my favorite kind of game.
Me too. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a pitcher, because, you know, strikeouts are sexy and stuff, but when you have a pitcher's duel and, you know, they're getting ground ball, you see good defense. The chance of good defense.
Galvis with a check swing foul. Clayton Richard has been outstanding.
Two walks on the afternoon, a hit batsman. It's the only way the Marlins have gotten on base.
Galvis towards left center field. Brinson with good speed over to left center for the first out here of the 7th inning.
Hey, soccer's coming. 4 days of it. You get to see Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar. 2018 FIFA World Cup is coming to Fox and FS1. With every match live and over 300 hours of coverage, the world's biggest sporting event is just 4 days away, only on Fox and FS1. Go! Go, 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 go!
0-1 to Manuel Margot. You do soccer too?
I guess. You know what? I'm giving you a yellow card. I'm sick and tired of your act. We're this close from a red card.
High strike.
Yeah.
And it's 1-2. What's the problem?
We'll talk about it after the game. No, you know I love Donnie.
Bouncing in, and it's 2-2. I think Richard has thrown 75 pitches through his first 6 innings today.
Yeah, the most he's thrown in an inning is 16, I believe. And that's right where you want to be. That's the major league average of pitches thrown per inning.
Margot will send one down the right field line into the seats. Thanks here at 2-2. One stretch in which he had retired 15 batters in a row.
Marlins hitless.
Line to left, and that ball is in for a base hit for Manuel Margot. 1-out single. Good at bat for Manuel. Seventh hit of the day for the Padres.
See what type of pitch this is. It's a pitch in off the plate. Getting to that one nicely. Elevated about the belt buckle. Getting to that ball quickly.
Lopez sounded like a broken bat. Rounds one foul outside of first, and he did indeed fracture his bat.
Fractured Shillelagh. It's the name of my new band.
So not only do you announce soccer, but you also are in a band.
It's an Irish Celtic band.
Do you dance too?
Oh yeah,
Michael Flatley.
Yeah. Do a little river dance. Could you see that?
That would be funny. At 285-ish.
Ish. I like that.
Rafi Lopez back up there again here with a count of 0-1.
Rafi can put a charge in one. Whoa.
We've talked about this Marlins bullpen. They have really struggled. Get into the pen and you're in pretty good shape generally.
They are 15th in the National League with a 5.41 ERA collectively. That is a big key for any club. That's the pitch that usually hitters look for, middle in, to try to jerk out of the ballpark to do some damage.
Third baseman Miguel Rojas moving from third to the right side. Now part of a shift with 2 strikes on the batter, Lopez. You got Clayton Richard waiting on deck here with 1 down in the 7th inning. Padres trying to add on to a 3-0 advantage. Skips in, full count. Nice pick there by Real Muto. There is Clayton waiting on deck. That's ball 4. Down to first base goes Rafi Lopez. 2 on with 1 away.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the San Diego Padres and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
Clayton Richard coming up here with 2 on and 1 away. Mound visit there. Charge to the Marlins with JT Realmuto going out.
Get this bunt down if he's going to be bunting towards the third base line. Rojas in on the grass. It's a force play at third base, so you want to draw that third baseman in.
Drops it down, but foul. Four sacrifice bunts on the year for Richard. Fouls off the first bid here with 1 out and runners at first and second.
You know, you start 33 games on the year. Let's say you end the year with 1 sacrifice per game. That's pretty good, right? 33 sacks.
Sure.
That's a lot. That's very, very good. Pitchers take pride in that, getting those runners over.
Gets it down this time, and the pitcher Hernandez will go to first base, and the sacrifice is complete. So covering was the second baseman Castro. 1-4 on the sacrifice. That allows Margot to go to third and Lopez to take second base. Nicely done.
I think he had a chance to maybe go to third base, being a force play. I think in his mind, you know what, I'm going to get the out. There are 2 outs, but hey, we know about the Padres with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. I think maybe he just wanted to get the sure out.
Travis Jankowski now with a chance to add on. With runners at second and third, 2 down here in the Padres 7th inning. Single to center field for Jankowski in the 6th inning. 1 for 3 day. Throw to third, and they have got Margot off the bag, and they tag him out. So not good there for the Padres. 7th inning stretch as the Padres have a 3-0 lead. Clayton Richard back out onto the mound for the Padres, seeking history today from Miami. Padres baseball brought to you by Nissan. It's time to upgrade. Save big at the Nissan Tech for All sales event. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Mozzie Heating and Air, San Diego's choice for heating, cooling, and solar. Last half of the 7th inning back in Miami. As Clayton Richard back on the mound. He is 75 pitches deep here in his outing. Getting ready for the 7th inning. There have been a total of 4 batters to reach. Anderson on a walk in the 1st inning. Real Muto was hit by a pitch. Castro walked in the 6th inning after he had retired 15 straight batters. And then Anderson grounded into a fielder's choice. So Anderson reached at first base, but that has been it. We look back at some of the closer plays in this game. Manuel Margot in the 1st inning able to make a catch on Cameron Maybin. This ball going a long way to center, back by the 407 marker. Covering 95 feet to get back there to make the catch. And he banged into the wall after making the grab. Two-handed there.
Great concentration from Manuel. Yeah, Clayton Richard is hitting the corners. He's going up and down, going back and forth, keeping these Marlins off balance. A big bagel in that H column for the Marlins.
Justin Bohr ready to go here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 0 for 2. He has struck out swinging and grounded out to second base. And a pop-up foul backing out of play. Got a few Padres pitchers flirting with history this year. Tyson Ross, Jordan Lyles. 0-2 the count. Bouncing in, 1-2. Bohr, Maybin, and Brinson. 4, 5, and 6 for the Marlins. And that one almost hit Bohr. 2-2.
He's been really having a tough time at the plate today. I mean, his swings just doesn't look right. And Clayton consistently trying to pitch in to Justin Bohr, who's got some pop, and then trying to put him away with that sweeping slider. Let's see that slider right here.
And he walks him to begin things here in the 7th inning. 3rd walk given up by Clayton Richard. First time in this game the Marlins have had the lead runner on. And it comes here in the 7th inning.
See Clayton there looking to the middle infield to find out who he's got on a comebacker.
Well, the Marlins have been no hit, I should say, 3 times. Jordan Zimmerman, Roy Halladay, and Ramon Martinez. Maybin will take ball 1.
And we know that Clayton Richard, he's got that 2-seamer, that breaking ball in his back pocket to get a ground ball for a double play.
Fly ball down the right field line. Renfroe over now, back. Look out. Renfroe will make the catch. Did not get a real good read on that one, and staggered to make the grab in front of the warning track.
Well, it wasn't pretty.
You think?
But he got the job done. You got to recalibrate that GPS out there.
In a results-based business, you got the job done.
He most certainly did.
It's an out. 1 down. Now a grounder to deep short. Galvis will go to second for 1, and that's all they'll get. Nice play by Galvis. Good rangy play over to the third base side of short to retrieve that.
Everyday Freddie. He is fun to watch. He's made a couple of plays this afternoon that make you go, wow. You know, it's not just getting to this baseball the way he did, but Pirela covering. Watch the throw. From his knee, right there at the belt buckle. And Pirela obviously does the right thing to just eat that one, get that lead runner.
Strike over the inside corner to Miguel Rojas. 0 for 2 today. Rojas has flied out to center, grounded out to third.
How many shortstops do you think make that play?
Not most. Grounder up the middle into center field. A base hit for Miguel Rojas, who breaks up the no-hit bid after 6 2/3 innings for Clayton Richard. Really thought he had a chance today.
Goes to show you how tough it is to throw a no-hitter. A lot has to go your way. This a clean single up the middle. And you know what? As a ground ball pitcher, that's going to happen a lot of times. You're going to give up a grounder, it's going to find a hole. It's not like Clayton Richard is going to strike out 14, 16 hitters in very few balls put in play.
You know, the pitch count was in line and seemed like he was going to have a very good opportunity to do it. Goes 6 2/3 without giving up a hit. And it is Miguel Rojas who breaks it up here. 2 on and 2 outs. And now all of a sudden you have the tying run at the plate here in JT Riddle. Highlights the play that ended last inning with Margot getting picked off third base.
Yes.
Padres needed more runs. Pitch 90 coming up. Brinson at second, Rojas at first. Riddle 0 for 2 today, grounding out twice to Barella at second base. Now a ground ball into right field, a base hit. They stop the runner at third, but he runs through it. And scoring is Brinson. Marlins on the board, back-to-back base hits. Brinson scores, and it's 3-1 Padres.
And once again, Clayton Richard being a ground ball pitcher, even though that ball is down the middle and crushable, this ball, it's a 1-hopper, 2-hopper through the infield, just out of the reach of Hosmer and Perella. Still some breathing room for the Padres and Clayton Richard.
Rojas at second, Riddle at first. Derek Dietrich pinch hitting. Simber up in the pen for the Padres. Obviously the first action we've seen in the pen all day. Off balance cut there from Dietrich. Now fooled him 1-1. Rojas at second, Riddle at first, 2 down. And Dietrich grounds one to Hosmer. He will take it himself to the bag, win the foot race, and end the inning. 2 hits and a run for the Marlins. 3-1 Padres. Not today.
All right, thanks very much, Mike and Mark, back here in Miami as Clayton Richard has got a 3-1 lead. The no-hitter goes by the boards today after 6 2/3 innings without allowing a hit. Miguel Rojas breaks it up, and Marlins end up with a run in the bottom of the 7th inning. We'll play on here to the 8th. Jankowski leading it off. He was batting last inning when Margot was picked off third base. Tehran Guerrero has taken over here for Miami on the mound. And falling behind here 2-0, missing at 98 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's got a live arm. Well, the name sounds familiar. We saw him in San Diego, acquired by Miami from San Diego, July 29, 2016. That was that Andrew Kastner, Colin Ray deal in exchange for Carter Capps, Jared Cosart, Luis Castillo, and Josh Naylor. Always going from the stretch.
This one out in front of home plate is a fair ball, and Real Muto gets out there and throws out Jankowski. Jankowski thought it was going to go foul, but it stays fair, and Real Muto throws him out. Whole host of changes here for the Marlins in the inning. I can tell you about that. Well, first we'll show you a home run from Eric Hosmer. As Hosmer with a 2-run shot in the 6th inning. For Hosmer's 8th of the year, RBIs 29 and 30, and give the Padres a 3-0 advantage. They now lead it 3-1.
Launch angle. Exit velocity.
And Cuidado.
Believe it. That was huge.
5 for 11 now in the series.
And you have him and pick the stick.
That's correct. Believe it.
Like that's going to really help you where you're at in the standings.
I'm on the move. Plenty of time left.
Yeah.
Derek Dietrich has stayed in the game for the Marlins. He's now in left field. Moving from left to right is Cameron Maybin. Ryan Anderson moving from right to third base. And Miguel Rojas from third to short. So a couple moves by the Marlins here defensively in the inning. So look at your new defensive alignment. And Guerrero in the game to pitch with one down here in the 8th. 2-1. Hosmer hits it sharply to second base, and Castro to first for out number 2. 2 ground ball outs for Guerrero since coming in. Gonna bring up Jose Perella. Has grounded to short, fouled out down the right field line, and reached on an infield hit his last time up in the 6th inning. Ball has come out onto the field, so flip it back up into the crowd.
So that means that with all the changes, if you're scoring at home, the pitcher Tehran Guerrero will bat in Riddle's spot, which is the number 8 spot.
Fly ball foul off to the right out of play. Clayton Richard, by the way, at 94 pitches through the first 7 innings of this game. 11 ground ball outs today for Clayton Richard. Well, it had been Adam Simber warming in the pen earlier, but now it is Kirby Yates. We're getting to that time of the game.
Top of the order next half for the Marlins, right?
Castro, Anderson, Real Muto expected. 2-2. How about a hundo?
That's bringing it.
In tight, full count, 99. Jankowski grounded out. Hosmer grounded out. Perella now with a full count with Hunter Renfroe waiting on deck by the fish tank. Fouled off again to the right.
Did you ever have a fish as a kid?
I did. I unfortunately killed many of them. Can't keep a fish alive, really.
Did you get the
It's
goldfish
tough.
like from the carnival?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too. Lasted about 2.5 days.
Yep.
I was really bright one day in the summertime playing wiffle ball with my buddies out in the backyard. So I thought it'd be a great idea on a hot, humid day to bring the goldfish out in his bowl and set it on the porch in the direct sunlight.
Like a jacuzzi.
Unbelievable.
Swing and a miss, and striking out is Jose Perella to end the 8th inning. More good fish stories with Bud Grant. We come back 3-1. Today, 6 2/3 without giving up a hit. Finally would give up 2 in this game, but some pretty good defense behind him along the way as well.
That's what's going to happen when you have a ground ball pitcher. They are aware of it, and they want to make those plays to make Clayton Richard happy. Some swings and misses as well. He was doing it all until the legitimate single right up the center of the diamond, and that's nice right there. That's, you know what, Rafi Lopez working with Clayton Richard, and he wants it just as much as Clayton and everybody else on the ball club. It just didn't happen this afternoon, but both guys working hard to accomplish that. Now turn it over to Kirby Yates, game number 26 for the right-hander, who recorded his second save yesterday in the 5-4 win.
Takes over for Clayton Richard. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, walked 3, struck out 5, hit a batter and threw 94 pitches today in his no-hit bid. Starlin Castro leads it off here for Miami in the last of the 8th inning.
It's a good day in the big leagues for Clayton Richard.
Tremendous.
Why don't you read that line one time for everybody to hear again?
7 runs.
7
innings pitched, 2 hits.
Yellow
1
card
run.
again. Yellow card.
Walked 3, struck out 5.
It's unbelievable.
I don't think I really needed to read it twice. I just read it. Swing and a miss for Castro. Are you okay?
Yellow card.
For what?
Yeah, just yellow card.
That is not a yellow card. That's your Ritz-Carlton key.
You want a red card? Keep talking.
Oh. Do you have a Ritz-Carlton red key? I can just hear you saying, sorry about staying at the Ritz-Carlton. Yeah. Sorry about it. Sorry about it. 2-1 to Starlin Castro. Back to the game.
Good pitch.
2-2.
Talked about Kirby and Brad Hand in our game open. The luxury that Andy Green has, you can flip-flop them. Majority of the time, obviously, Brad Hand is going to get that save opportunity. But with the way Kirby has pitched, you bet.
To third, Villanueva, nice pick, hops up, his throw is good. Nice play by Christian Villanueva. Nicely done. Makes the grab, spins around, fires to first to get Starlin Castro.
That is a big league play by Villanueva. This point in the ball game, doing everything to try to keep the Marlins off the base. Nice stretch by Hosmer. Boy, the energy in that dugout, the energy from his teammates, everybody likes it. Eric Hosmer with the point, the clap from Kirby Yates. That was sweet.
One down for Brian Anderson. Walked in the first, grounded out to third in the third, and then grounded into a fielder's choice in the 6th inning. Kicked off the shin guard that time of Lopez. One and two. Anderson now, Real Muto on deck here for Miami. Say bat in the 8th inning. Wondered if we might see Brad Hand again in this instance, facing the toughest part of the order really for the Marlins. We've seen that more in the last week than we have seen in the past. But it is Yates here in the 8th inning, going through this part of the order. And that is strike 3. First strikeout for Yates. Brian Anderson down by way of the K. 2 down.
I think that Anderson is looking for the split-fingered fastball or something off speed, because look at this right here. That is a good old-fashioned fastball at 94. Frozen pizza. Grab some pine.
2 down in the 8th. And it brings up JT Realmuto, hit by a pitch in the 1st inning. Struck out in the 4th, lined out to center in the 6th inning. Play for him to go the other way. Manuel Margot over towards right center. Grounded foul outside of third, and Kirby Yates jumps ahead here, 1 and 2.
I think it was Uncle Splitty coming at you right there from Kirby Yates. Split finger right there. Stay on top of it. Don't work around it this way. Stay on top of it.
That's what it does.
Yeah.
Just trying to help.
You're on thin ice.
Swing and a miss. That's Real Muto strikes out. Back-to-back Ks. Go to the 9th, 3-1 Padres.
Top of the order for Kirby Yates. And this is after that inning. Such a good feeling as a reliever. You know, a tight ball game late, getting high fives from your teammates. That's feeling good right there.
Doing your job.
Yep.
Doing it well. That's on to the 9th inning, and Hunter Renfroe going to lead it off here for the Padres. Renfroe, Villanueva, and Galvis scheduled to bat here in the 9th inning for San Diego. Tehran Guerrero back out there again. He had a 1-2-3 8th inning of his own, getting Jankowski, Hosmer, and Perella. Renfroe with a double back in the 2nd inning.
You know, for the people who don't know, the last game of a road trip, they take down our booth camera.
Yes.
It being in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
So a gentleman will come down and take down our booth camera. My question to you, Don, is that what does it say in your contract from your agent that how many times you have to be on camera? Did we fulfill that number?
Well, I was going to talk to you about that because I noticed in my contract that I'm supposed to open on a 1 in the open,
right?
Where it's just me,
right? But not the case.
And so far in 2.5 years, you've accompanied me in that first shot. So like that's going to be changing. So we open on a 1. And I say, hi, this is Don Orsillo. Welcome to Padres baseball. Mark Grant, if there's time. But we're right up against it. It's the Marlins and the Padres. And then I go right into whatever elements we're going to do.
Right.
And there's probably not going to be time. This is line to left field. And that's going to get in for a base hit. Hunter Renfroe with a wide turn at first holds on with a leadoff single in the 9th.
Well, he's swinging the bat well. Double. Scored a run in the 2nd. Pulling this baseball. Aggressive turn around first. Padres trying to add on here in the top of the 9th.
Renfroe at first base, nobody out, and Christian Villanueva coming up. Now, right now, our booth is being torn down limb by limb.
Right.
The camera's already gone, and so is the curtain behind us. It is all gone.
very sterile in here right now.
It's like we were never even here.
Yeah.
The roadies come in, they clear everything out, and now there's nothing.
Camera's usually
Used to
here.
be a huge curtain here.
Curtain here.
There's camera over here. There's nothing. Where is it?
Gotta go.
Big hack there by Villanueva. So now it's on a truck going to St. Louis.
Yep.
Where we will see it again. We'll be back on camera with you again with that shot.
By the way, hotter booth.
It's been very warm here for the 3 days. Surprised they haven't taken our headsets yet. Swing and a miss for Villanueva, who strikes out for the first out of the ninth. Speaking of St. Louis,
nice and cool.
The Padres are headed there after the ball game, and Jose Martinez last 7 games hitting at .500, 4 home runs. Tommy Pham against the Padres this year has been outstanding. OPS and 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. Miles Michaelis having a tremendous year. 8th of the Padres with 6 2/3, 1 earned run. He's got 7 wins, I believe.
Yeah, the St. Louis Cardinals going into today's game, 3 games out in the NL Central and above 500 at home. I've always contended that in St. Louis, no matter how good of a year they're having, that's always been a tough place to play and win. 19-14 going into today.
Always amazed by their consistency year in and year out. Fly ball center field off the bat of Freddie Galvis, and out there is Brinson for out number 2. Let's revisit our keys to the game, brought to you by your Honda dealers.
Clean D for Clayton. 11 groundouts, no errors. Continued to be clutch. 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. 1 sacrifice fly. Going into today's game, the Padres leading Major League Baseball in that category, hitting .283 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs.
Renfroe, the short lead at first base. Manuel Margot standing in. Margot was picked off third base in the 7th inning. Padres were threatening with runners at second and third, 2 down, and he got picked off. Roger Hernandez had picked him off. Fouled at the dish, 1-1. 101 miles an hour. Right around 100 since he has come into the game, and 101 that time. Swing and a miss, elevating.
You think he's going up the ladder again?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. I missed that completely.
Do you think he's going up the ladder here?
Oh,
again?
no question. Yep. Get ready for 101. 1-2 pitch. And he does.
Wow.
There's 101.
Look at you.
3 strikeouts for Guerrero since coming in. Hey, it's Brad Hand time. Padres have a 3-1 lead to the bottom of the 9th. We go from Miami.
with the Padres on top 3-1, trying to win this series. And Hand has been amazing as far as save leaders go. Brad Hand with 18 on the year. Edwin Diaz of the Seattle Mariners with 22. Wade Davis with 20, as does Craig Kimbrell.
Well, you know what? The slider has been the story, right? We talk about that quite a bit. But don't underestimate or forget about the 95, 96 mile an hour fastball from Brad Hand. 18 of 20 in these save opportunities.
Justin Bohr leading it off. Cameron Maybin and Lewis Brinson scheduled to bat in the inning. Bohr 0 for 2. He did walk. That was in the 7th inning. Nice job by Kirby Yates. A 1-2-3 inning, 2 strikeouts. Padres pitching with 7 in the game. Bohr will hit a one-hopper, knocked down by Perella. Has time to recover and throw him out. Now Bohr hit it hard, and Perella just knocked it down. It was hit so hard, had time to recover. Plenty of time to get Bohr. Does not run well. 1 down.
This was a P-Rod. Serious top hand, top spin. Hit so hard that Perella doesn't have to panic. At least he knocks it off the wrist, off the gut, right in front of him. Plenty of time to throw out Bohr.
1 down in the 9th, and it brings up Cameron Maybin. Oh for 3. On the ground to shortstop. Galvis racing in. Throws on the run. A double pump, but it's still in time. 2 down in the 9th. Not sure if he got a good grip on the transfer there initially, but looked like a double pump. 2 down.
Oh, some good D flashed here in the 9th. Let's see if we can get a look. Glove. The pump. Yeah, it looks like he had a changeup grip there initially, right?
Two down in the 9th, and it brings up Lewis Brinson. 0 for 3 on the day. It's grounded out to second, flied out to the warning track and right, and grounded into a fielder's choice. In there for strike 2. Brad Hand has only thrown 6 pitches since coming in. Has 2 outs and ahead of the 3rd batter here. 0-2. Foul back, and we'll do it again. 0-2. 96 from Hand. Richard for 7, giving up 1 run on 2 hits. Yates for an inning. 1, 2, 3, and Hand has gone 2/3 so far.
We're looking at another all-star, right, for 2018 in Brad Hand?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and the Padres win. A 1-2-3 9th inning for Brad Hand, and the Padres take 2 out of 3 from the Marlins. They've won 4 straight series. First time they've won 4 straight series since 2015. On a day when Clayton Richard flirted with a no-hitter, Yates and Hand finish it off, and the Padres take a 3-game series from the Marlins. It's time for Padres Live. Mike Pomeranz, what's in store?